In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the MapEase series, which is our new series of control surface editors for Live. If you're wondering what the term control surface editor means, in this context it means an editor that enables you to modify the functionality of a controller, allowing you to do things like set up buttons on the controller to send keystrokes, and it also allows you to modify the functionality of a MIDI remote script in Live. Now if you're not familiar with MIDI remote scripts, take a look at the APC 40. All of the functionality that it provides, from clip launching to device control to mixing related controls, is all accomplished via a MIDI remote script in Live. Right? The primary downside to MIDI remote scripts is that in order to create them or customize them, you need to be familiar with the programming language that they're written in, which is Python. And even then, the process is somewhat time-consuming and requires quite a bit of trial and error because there isn't much documentation on it. So this is the whole point of the MapEase series. It allows you deep levels of customization without having to do any sort of programming. The editing that you'll do in MapEase series applications is very quick and easy, hence the name MapEase. The MapEase series separates the controls on each controller into 4 different types of controls. The first one is a shift button, and that's very similar to the shift key on your computer's keyboard in that it modifies the functionality of other controls. The next type are mixed controls. These are groups of 8 controls that each can have 8 assignments. These are really the primary control type in the MapEase series. The next type are global controls, and these can each have 2 assignments, a default assignment and then a shifted assignment that you access by pressing shift. And the last type are other controls. These have a fixed assignment that you can't change. This is the main window that you'll interact with when using MapEase series applications. This is actually the main window from ME nanoKONTROL 2, which is the addition for the nanoKONTROL 2 obviously, but all the applications in the series are very similar. Each one is just specialized for a particular controller, so everything we're going to be talking about here is the same for all MapEase series applications. Alright, so this window serves a couple different purposes. It's an editor for mixed controls, and it's also an on-screen display that shows you what your mixed controls are doing. Starting on the left-hand side of the window, the uppermost section shows you the name of the current mix mode. Underneath that, you'll have a section for each set of mix controls that shows you what they're doing. On the right-hand side of the window is Info View, and this will show you information on your assignments by just hovering your mouse cursor over them. All right, this part of the window can actually be hidden if you don't need to see it. As far as switching between mix modes, there's a variety of different ways to do it. If you're editing, you could do it directly from the main window here. From the controller, there's several different ways to do it, but the default way is by pressing Shift and using one of the sets of mix buttons. On the nanoKONTROL 2, it's the bottom set of mix buttons, the record buttons here. To edit mix control assignments, first choose the mix mode that you want to edit, and then for any assignments you want to change, just right-click on the section and then choose a new assignment from the pop-up menu. Once you're done making your changes, save the preset that you're working on. This will send all of its settings to Live. To edit the assignments of global controls, use the Global Controls editor, which you can access from the View menu. As I mentioned before, each global control has a default and a shifted assignment, so you can choose which one of those you want to edit at the top of the window here. And then to change an assignment, just right-click on it, choose a new assignment, and once you're done making your changes, save the preset to send the new settings to Live. You can create as many presets as you want, and each one can have drastically different settings. So in this way, you don't have to create one preset that does everything. You can create a variety of presets that are each dedicated to a particular task, like mixing, arranging, live work, etc. Alright, and you could switch between these presets on the fly. Opening a preset will send all of its settings to Live. In addition to the settings you can make for each preset, there's also advanced options, which are global options that apply to all presets. You can access these from the View menu. As you can see, there's a bunch of different options in here. To give you an example of one though, buttons that are assigned to track select can access a secondary function by holding down the associated button. By default, they'll fold or unfold tracks, but with this option here you can change that so that they arm tracks instead.